Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor, and the big news last week that Warner Media is releasing all of its 17 films that were on slate for 2021 on HBO Max in tandem with a 30-day theatrical release, still blowing people's minds. And now we are finally getting some responses, some pushback, some major pushback from both theaters and their financiers, the people who put up the money for some of these films. So I want to break all this down because there's some new updates, and I want to talk about what this means because I think it's a good place to start here. Now, Jason Kollar is the CEO of Warner Media. Warner Media is now owned by AT&T. AT&T owns Warner Media, which then owns Warner Brothers, HBO Max, etc. Jason Kollar comes from Hulu. Started with Amazon, he went to Hulu, and then he had a failed venture called Vessel, which I'll talk about near the end. But Jason Kollar, look, I don't actually know the guy, but he's coming in hot based off of clear direction from the AT&T brass to figure out a way how to make the streaming game for Warner Brothers as good as it is for Netflix and Disney. That's clearly what the goal is here. So when he says this one's for the fans, that's a lie. It's not a lie. Sure, fans will enjoy this. Fans will be excited because they get to see the movie at home, but this is not strictly for the fans. This is for AT&T's bottom line to lift up their stock price, to try and make money, and they're playing the fan service game because that's really the only thing they have right now to help them make this direction. They want to change the deals that they have with theaters. They want streaming to become a bigger deal. They think that is a larger piece of the pie. AT&T thinks that's where a lot of this is going to come in. But the problem is, Jason Kollar, AT&T, they don't really understand. They don't come from the movie business. And the amount of revenue that actually comes in from a theatrical to a VOD, Blu-ray, etc., streaming, licensing, there are multiple revenue streams that all circle to one place. So the question is this really actually going to be a money-making move in the long term, or is this a short-sighted goal that they're just trying to do quickly to make money due to the problems that we're all sort of stuck in? Now, there's a lot to break down in this, so bear with me. And I'm going to come back to Jason and where he comes from and why this, again, we should just be worried and pause for a second and not just assume, oh, fans, we get the content, it's good. No, this could have serious ramifications for the content you watch, for the theater industry, a lot of things that a lot of fans are going to be upset about. So let's start with the AMC chain, okay? So AMC's come out the hardest. The other chains have come out and sort of, they've been a little bit more in the middle, like we'll see how this works. But just so we're all clear, like they got a one-off deal for Wonder Woman to be released theatrically. Wonder Woman was the only movie that AMC and others agreed to, given the status of the world, and they thought, all right, fine, we'll give you this one-off pass because we know, theaters aren't going to be ready, and you want to get this out there. Fine, we will make the deal. So Wonder Woman was made a handshake deal to put it in theaters. Same time it was going to go on HBO Max for a month, for 30 days on HBO Max, and then it would be in theaters longer. And so here's what AMC, the largest theater chain in the world, who's obviously financially hurting. Keep in mind, who knows if they'll have a leg to stand on, but they said these Rona-impacted times are uncharted waters for all of us, which is why AMC signed on to an HBO Max exception to customary practices for one film only, Wonder Woman 1984, being released by Warner Brothers at Christmas when a pandemic appears to be at its height. However, Warner now hopes to do this for all of their 2021 theatrical movies, despite the likelihood that vaccines right around the corner, the theater business is expected to recover. Clearly, Warner Media intends to sacrifice a considerable portion of the profitability of its movie studio division and that its production partners and filmmakers to subsidize its HBO Max startup. As for AMC, we will do all in our power to ensure that Warner does not do so at our expense. We will aggressively pursue economic terms that preserve our business. Now, I highlight this part because, this is fact. This is really what it gets down to if you want to break down the actual industry knowledge. Warner Media intends to sacrifice a considerable portion of the profitability of its movie studio division, of its production partners, we're going to come to them in a second, and filmmakers to subsidize its HBO Max startup. That's what's happening for. That's who this is for. Not the fans, as Jason's trying to trick everybody. Let's be honest, Jason. It's for your stockholders. It's for the stock to go up. It's for the board for HBO Max to become Netflix and Disney Plus, which it's not. And you are tasked to make it. So here you have this problem of this guy. And I don't mean to hound on him, but he's put himself out there. It's all fair. You have this guy, Jason, who's not making good content. Let's be honest. It's all about the content. They have not made content fast enough. The content is meh. That's okay. HBO is the only source of content that they're doing well on, but HBO isn't churning out enough. And as they've sort of turned on the valves to try and make it go faster, they're not spending properly. They don't have the best stuff yet. It's slow, but sure. There's a new Game of Thrones show that's still not even shot yet. They can't go as fast as they need the content right now, and so they're suffering. So what do they have? What can they do? Think about it. You have the head of AT&T, the board, and the guy who reports to them, in charge of it all, making the decision to say, "Can we just get that content over on my platform, please?" That's how you gotta think. That's how it thinks. When I worked in this industry and I worked in these types of in the worlds, Jason only cares about HBO Max. That's the success clearly right now. That's what he's tasked with. So he will roll over anybody else he's got to do to make sure that his goal there of getting HBO Max subscribers goes up. Right or wrong, that's the task, right? So he'll go against all the other previous generations of business models and stream, just because I know it's unprecedented times, fair. But now he's going to prepare a whole year's worth of films and tell you, the fans, that he's doing it. And now he's doing it without making deals to the theater chains. He's doing it without making clear deals to the talent. He's doing it without clear deals to the financiers. Now, that's where I really want to focus. Again, as this says, he's sacrificing considerable portion of the profitability of his movie studio division and that of its production partners and filmmakers to subsidize the HBO Max startup. That is what's happening. He's trying to gas up his numbers in HBO Max, and with the only thing that they can do, which is their movies, which you guys got to remember, the movies are made with huge deals with bonuses to filmmakers. If movies do well, a lot of the talent in said movies gets bonuses, union fees. There's a lot of fees and things that are now going to be wiped out. What I'm being told, as I've done some sort of homework, and then we're going to get to this, Legendary is the big dog in there who could actually theoretically really make a dent in whether this can happen or not to certain films. What I'm being told is that, for Wonder Woman 84, they did make a deal. They basically made a one-off deal where they, looking at some of my notes here, they made a one-off deal where they said, okay, well, look, if the film's going to make $1 billion, whatever bonuses you would have made for that amount, we're going to pay you outright. And that's sort of what they're doing to buy out sort of directors, Gal Gadot, people like that, to sort of say, all right, look, we know you owe you. If this is going to HBO Max, how do we know what's the profit? How are you guys reaping the rewards that you would if we'd gone to box office? They have to front a lot of money up front to buy them out. That's what Netflix does. Netflix doesn't have residuals and other things, percentages, box office goals. Not even the talent knows how successful a Netflix series or movie is, which is very dangerous for the industry, that they're letting this Netflix sort of take over and buy out people. Are they actually getting a good deal? Is the talent getting the best deal they could? Who knows? And so now by HBO Max making this move, it's yet another studio who will control their numbers and know where the profitability is coming from so they can pay less to their creators, filmmakers, producers, agents. Guys, that's not going to fly long term, okay? The more and more Netflix has come without being able to share transparency on the numbers, there's going to be a reckoning at some point. There's going to be a coup. People are going to get upset. It's not going to last. It can't last. Without transparency of views and everything else, it's not going to last. Let's be clear. It may seem great for fans now, and woo, it's like MoviePass when MoviePass first came out. Sign me up. I'm going to take advantage of this stupid thing as long as I can. Sure, it's good for the fans, but is it good for the overall business? Is it good for everybody else who makes money in this industry to provide the content that you love so much? That's the bigger question you got to remember when you're hearing all this. So going to this deal, now they made a deal with Wonder Woman. They somehow got that through the ringer quickly, but they didn't make a deal with Godzilla versus Kong. And this is a massive one. This is a massive one, guys. Legendary financed 75% of that film. 75% of that film, of its $165 million budget. And also they provided roughly 75 of Dune as well. And both Godzilla. So apparently, both of those movies, they put up 75% of the budget for both Dune and Godzilla versus Kong. So play that out. 75%, $165 million. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that Warner Brothers didn't have to put up. And now Netflix is out there trying to buy Godzilla vs. Kong for $250 million, which is profit for everybody involved on its budget. And they passed on the deal. Why did they pass on the deal? Because HBO Max wants it. How, is HBO Max going to pay $250 million then? Because, but no, it's theirs. See how complicated this gets? So by doing this deal and not even negotiating with Legendary, Legendary can sue them. Be like, whoa, what? Are you going to pay me $250 million then? So we go away and make our money? HBO Max, just because they have a platform and own the film, doesn't mean they could just like take it and be like, yep, well, we're going to actually do this. Crazy times. We're just going to put it on HBO Max. Cool? Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll tell you what the numbers are. Oh, it made only 100 million. Sorry, here's 50. Good luck. Yeah, that's going to fly. That's going to work. Not. So this is where things are going to get super complicated. Right now, a lot of the agencies, like the super agents, CAA, UTA, etc., they're all wrapped up with this WGA deal. And the reality is they need to get their head out of that right now because there's a way bigger looming industry game changer that if these agencies and unions don't stand up right now to realize what's going on, they're all out. They're all going to be blown up and the studios will control all content. And then what? So this is a monumental shift that everyone needs to understand. And so by not looping in Legendary, I mean, what the hell? Like, how do you do that? So apparently Legendary is already prepared and is Warner's, but here we go. So I'll just make it. Warner Media is bound to see even more blowback from HBO Max. The films are guaranteed to lose money by debuting day and date in theaters and the streaming service, putting producers like Legendary in a sticky situation. HBO Max plan also brings up issues with back-end deals with filmmakers and cast members typically earn bonuses based off box office performance. Warner Media is reportedly playing out bonuses based on projection for Wonder Woman, like I just told you. But the box office of King Godzilla and Dune are unknown. So what will they do? There's so many what ifs right now as to, well, how do you do it? So I just make sure I've gone through everything. So this is complicated, guys, and there's precedent to this. As I looked around and did some more stuff, Sony was a tech company that bought a studio. They bought Columbia, and then there was another Japanese company that bought MCA Universal. Matsushita. I'm not going to say it, but another Japanese a tech company bought MCA Universal, and that one failed. Within 6 years, that company sold 80% of its earnings back, taking a $1.5 billion loss. Sony has now sort of tried to make things work, and they're trying to, but Sony, as you know, is not the best studio out there. They're still trying to do the best they can to stay in with the big boys. So when a tech company comes in and just thinks they know how to run the movie business, it doesn't always work, is the reality. So when AT&T has now come in to try and basically say, well, we know what's best, we're going to do this, that doesn't mean it's going to be successful. It's a short-sighted goal that could be really problematic. And so the only person there currently who knows this world is Toby Emmerich, who is on the outs. Ray Fisher's trying to push him out. Dude, Ray, get your head in the game. Whole industry is about to explode due to streaming rights, and you're like, the only one in that studio right now who could attempt to try and throw some weight around is Toby Emmerich, who has experience in this world, theatrical movie business, and doesn't sound like he has any say anymore. The people in charge at AT&T, what's his name? Stanky is the guy. Stanky is I wrote that down, but he's in charge of AT&T. If you go higher up above him, and so that's the problem right now. Who's in charge? Is who's in charge actually making the best move for the studio? John Stanky, that's what it is. So here it is. Chief of AT&T, who runs Warner's, John Stanky and his then boss, Randall, acquired Warner's. They were dismissively called bellheads. Hollywood leaders puzzled how executives trained to deal with the phone business could adjust to a broader, more complex landscape. And making show business decisions, they can't look at the data. They can't just look at data. They have to study people. And announcing the new distribution policies, Stanky didn't even get his jargon right. He kept referring to theatrical channels. Exhibitors don't think of themselves as channels. He conceded that we don't get great visibility yet. Hollywood wondered, well, why not wait for some visibility? So anyway, I was reading an article about sort of breaking some of this also down. The reality is Stanky, Kollar, all these, and Cernoff even, who comes from more BBC and sort of streaming sites, they don't really know how to run a studio. They know how to make, Anne has made good content, but they don't know how to run a studio, and that's the problem right now. With all of these deals in place, unions, etc., it's a problem. So I'm trying to look at some of these numbers. they're trying to do. So actually, I'm going to go to this. I'll go here first. So Jason Kollar made this interview for the site that shall not be named. Every time I'm going to have to source this site, I'm going to say it's my exclusive, because that's all they do, guys. Deadline steals exclusives left and right. They're a shady page. Deadline, do better. You're shady. Stole my Mads Mikkelsen story, made it your own, and I will call you out every time I have you on. Anytime I see your headline or an interview I need to use, I will call you out because you deserve it. You're a terrible news source. So here we go. Anyway, they did an interview with Jason Kollar, and I'm going to state the obvious. We're in the middle of a pandemic, despite all the wishing that it goes away, like a Band-Aid being ripped off. Everyone we talked in the medical community suggests persists in certain of behavior, so that's why he's doing this. Yada. We have a hybrid model of theatrical and HBO Max. We believe economically first, and most importantly, it's the right thing to do for the fans. It's the right thing to do for exhibition, and the right thing to do for talent, considering the circumstances. BS. It's the right thing for all these people. Pfft. Right thing for exhibition? What? How do you even know what December is going to be like? And you've already announced Matrix 4 is going to be on day and date. Dude, that's to sell subscribers. That's your interest. Don't lie to us. Don't be fooled by this, guys. They are lying to you. It's not the best for them. I mean, for anybody but them. It's the best for them. It's good for fans. And then everything else is questionable because you still haven't made deals with a lot of your talent. Anyway, so he brings up an interesting point that Deadline says. The film, the thieves at Deadline say, the film is going in the first 30 days on HBO Max with theaters. Why not delay it? Why not flip that where the film is exclusive initially in theaters and then HBO Max thereafter? Look at this answer, this spin. The headline answer is because of the pandemic. Excuse me, hiccups. Because of the situation we're in and the fact that we're going to invest a considerable amount in marketing, which they would have done regardless. It's unusual to do in the middle of a pandemic. And by marketing, I mean money, which benefits the theatrical experience. A considerable marketing budget for each and every film that will be coming out over the next 13 months. And we believe that the marketing investment works better if eyes were out there talking about these great films title by title. The marketing can benefit not just the theatrical experience, which of course is depressed during the pandemic, but also benefit the same time the HBO Max period of time that the films are available there. The element is an important one to highlight this as well. Did you just like... Look at the spin in this. I mean, his excuse for why we don't put the films in 30 days in theaters first was because of marketing. We're going to put so much money in marketing it in theaters. What a lie. Dude, the first trailer we got was all about same day, a date, HBO Max. Those were HBO Max commercials. Oh, and by the way, we're in theaters because we're contractually obligated to in some of these cases, and we have to pretend like we care. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, because of the fans. Dude, this is a joke. Look at this. This guy is a joke. What are you doing out there making interviews if you can't be honest? Oh, well, it's because, we're going to do considerable marketing budgets for the theaters. No, you're not. You're doing it for HBO Max subscribers. You could care less about the theatrical numbers. You don't want them in the theaters. You did this to drive subscribers. You're going to take a massive loss to try and get subscribers. I bet you're hoping the theaters stay closed. I bet you're hoping AMC and others do get mad at you and don't actually put these movies in so you get more subscribers, Jason. Let's be honest about what your goal is. You want HBO Max subscribers to be so high that you don't even need the theatrical model anymore. That is the truth. That is the truth here. But this spin of, day and date, we're gonna put lots more money, which benefits the theatrical experience. I mean, bull. Have you guys seen the ads for HBO Max? It's all about HBO Max and theaters, is what it says. It's like, oh, and by the way, we're also in theaters. Craziness. And so anyway, he talks about it. They're not in anywhere else except from the U.S. And he just shares some other stupid stuff here. But all of this is spin. All of this is, then they want to talk about staff reductions. It's a problem right now. This is not a good problem. So who is Jason Kollar? How did he get so much control? AT&T picked him of all people. Look, he made Amazon. He was there at the right time at Amazon. He was involved in Hulu. Hulu, I guess, is a success. I mean, let's be honest. It's not compared to the other streaming giants. It just was the right place at the right time with a lot of financiers, managed to get the studios to support it, and they put good content on it for a time being. But let's be honest about Hulu. Hulu sucks. Hulu's not very good. It's not one of the best streaming sites. Disney now owns it, and Disney is attempting to figure out if they were wise, how do I put these together? And the only reason they're thinking that is because the Disney brand's better, the Disney Plus thing is doing better, and they need grown-up programming on Disney Plus if they want to be anywhere near HBO Max and Netflix. Let's be honest. We've been speculating that for ages. Until Disney Plus becomes all ages, they're never going to be like the other ones. They just can't be. There's not enough content there. Till they can figure out a way to put a age gate on Disney Plus, they're going to lose the streaming debate. I firmly think it. Once they unlock that and they wise up and realize, okay, the Disney brand is more than just what we think, and we can do it safely, then it's a game changer. The FX library opens up. So many Fox films come into play. So much stuff that can suddenly make that a destination that's for real. So I don't know what the hell they're waiting on, but clearly there's a lot that this HBO decision will, I think, fast track that. We could see there's Disney's going to do a release schedule, I think, in a couple days, which I'll cover when it happens, but we'll see. But anyway, so Jason Kollar made Hulu. Props for Hulu. Worked in Amazon, so we got a lot of experience there. But nobody remembers Vessel. I only remember this because I was in the space, and I remember Vessel. And I knew some people who worked for him at Vessel. And, everyone said he was a nice guy, visionary, smart guy, but they were investing in him because he helped make Hulu. So he sort of shows up, comes up with a big idea, and then sells it, is what he does. Look, Matt, respect, dude. Keep doing that. Keep making your money. But Vessel sucked. Vessel was one of the worst ideas ever. The whole idea that he sold it at the beginning was $3 a month. You get to see YouTube content early. So he paid through the nose for all the Shane Dawson's, Rhett and Link. He paid all these YouTubers tons of money to say, hey, make your content on YouTube. Not going to change it. Just give it to us a few days early. Make sure you give it to us a few days early. Whatever weekly content, we get it early. Then you release it, and then we're just paying it like it basically it was Patreon. It was a YouTube channel membership deal that he thought was going to be the next big thing. And it clearly wasn't. It was not the next big thing. It was a terrible thing. It failed. It did not work. But the draw was that. And then, of course, after that happened, he tried to figure out how to get content and make it work. And this thing didn't work. It didn't sell. He managed to sort of make this go away and forget about it. And the reason he was able to get it to go away is he somehow swindled Verizon to buy it. Why Verizon paid for it, I have no idea. Probably gave him a much smaller deal so he could just say, sold it, see you, success. Bye. But let's not, this was his Quibi. This was an absolute worse than Quibi. There wasn't even original content on it. I think he was trying to at a certain point because he realized, crap, this YouTube angle isn't working. So a whole app that made of, let's try and compete with YouTube by making new things before YouTube. It made no sense. It was so stupid, and it failed hugely. And he overpaid for a lot of it. And then he managed to, because of his credentials, and it's going to be huge, sells it to Verizon, who I'm sure has done nothing with it. Completely lost for Verizon. Verizon's now made two huge losses. That one and Verizon Go 90. Verizon could not figure out how to work streaming for if their life depended on them. So there you have Jason, who managed to swindle Verizon with his failed thing, and now he's managed to go over to AT&T. Like, hey, remember I sold that big deal of Verizon? I'm Hulu, I'm Amazon. Hey, AT&T, let's change the movie industry together, right? That's what's happening right now. And the reality is, with Legendary and all these people now threatening lawsuits to take this down, this is a problem. This isn't... No, look, I got to say, I always play all the sides. The streaming is the future. Clearly, it's a huge part of this industry. It's what we all want to see. A lot of content should go to streaming. I believe it. It's a new world we live in. People want to stay home, especially right now. I get it. I'm not against the idea of streaming. But guys, you're out of the loop and don't understand how the movie industry works if you don't understand the amount of revenue that theatrical distribution brings into a studio. It all feeds each other. Huge talent, everybody, they all get paid huge amounts of money for that. Now, is that fair? I don't know, whatever you think, but that's what gives us huge movies and theatrical experiences. And the reality is, I don't want movies. I don't want the theater experience to die. I don't want to just sit at home on my couch and watch every piece of content on my couch. That sounds horrible. I've just done it for the year. It's nice. Yes, we zone out. We come home. We're sick. Whatever. At night, we want to just check out and be on our couch, and we watch whatever we choose to watch at home. But there's something about the movie experience that will never die. It should never die. And for them to think that they can just do this over the year by not pissing a lot of people off and making a huge dent in the theater industry, this is going to harm them tremendously in theory. It's something we should all be careful about. So see this for what it is. You might be excited. You might think, yeah, this is for me. That he's right. It is about the fans. Do what you want to do, but don't underestimate the real behind the scenes of this, of what his intents are, what AT&T's intents are, Kollar's previous failures, other tech companies' previous failures in trying to reinvent the movie industry. Doesn't always work. There's a lot of other stuff at play here. A lot of talent that's pissed, a lot of filmmakers that are pissed, a lot of financiers like Legendary that are pissed, that weren't even notified until half hour before it happened. That is sketchy. That is sketchy, Warner Media. You have proven to be sketchy a lot. What's going on? This is crazy. And they're just, I can't stand the hypocrisy over there. It's like Ray Fisher's making that whole thing about it, whatever, which is so small potatoes compared to everything, but it's all affected to a thing of they're all being accused. And then they keep Amber Heard on. They fire Johnny Depp. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to what's going on in that studio. It is just madness over there. Makes no sense. So we are interested for a ride. I'm excited to see Wonder Woman 84. I'm sorry Patty and Gal are mixed in all this. That film I hear is a lot of fun. I can't wait to see it. I think this will absolutely help them get subscribers, but at the cost of what? Was it a fair move? Are they being fair? And does the industry really want to not have transparency? You as an audience, you shouldn't want that either. It's important when the studios puts their films up and we get to actually track what they make at the theaters. That's good. If Amazon owns the theaters and we won't even know what box office results are anymore if stuff starts happening. If Amazon owns the theaters, they're just gonna be like, cool. Yeah, we don't release our numbers. Eventually, that's what's going to happen. You'll never know what's actually popular. They'll be tricking you forever. Transparency is key. If studios just keep owning successful streaming platforms and we never get to know except for what they tell us are the trending things on Netflix, yeah, right, those are honest. Those aren't honest. We're in trouble. So wise up, everybody. Just because, yay, I get my movie at home doesn't mean there's a lot of other dark stuff happening behind the scenes that we all got to be careful of. So be wise, keep your eyes open. If you like this kind of analysis here, make sure you subscribe to Popcorn Planet. Hit the subscribe button, smash that alert to the all bell, smash the like button, leave a comment. You know what I'm saying. In the meanwhile, catch some of this content too. Thank you guys for watching here on Popcorn Planet.